Hey guys, it's Jeb here, and in today's video, John McAfee back in jail just hours after his release in the Dominican Republic. We also have to talk about our man Mike Novogratz because he is betting on Bitcoin reaching all-time highs this year because as he says down here, when Facebook announced his new digital asset, Libra, the calls coming into his firm bounced to a whole new level. I'd very much like to hear his opinion on that, and that's what all these quotes are for, so we're going to be diving into that in a little bit. We're also going to be doing some technical analysis on Bitcoin today because in today's video, I want to bring you guys a new technical indicator, at least new to me. That would be the CMF, the Chaikin money flow. I'm going to be showing you how to use this technical indicator and what signal it's giving us right now because it's actually somewhat bullish but also somewhat bearish. There's a very strong bullish and bearish case to Bitcoin right now. Bitcoin is very much in a decision point and we're going to have to see exactly what Bitcoin decides it wants to do here in the next couple of days. We have a lot of technical analysis we need to get to here as well. So guys, if you are interested in finding out how John McAfee got arrested again in the span of about 24 hours just after being released. I mean, look at these two tweets. They're right next to each other. I do encourage you to continue watching the video, guys. If you do enjoy today's video, make sure you smash that like button. Also, make sure to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell if you are new here. And also remember that we are still running the sale on the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy. I think you guys can get a lot of value out of this course because I've seen everyone that goes through this course get a lot of value out of it. If you want to learn more about how to trade cryptocurrency markets, there's a link in the description down below with a $40 off coupon code 25K2019. So without much further ado, guys, let's go ahead and dive right on into it. We're going to start with the technical analysis and then we'll move through our news portion. But in today's video, there are a lot of things that I want to discuss here. Starting off, I want to go ahead and zoom in here to the hourly chart and show you something that I've noticed, and that is that Bitcoin finds itself currently in this consolidation pattern. We've seen Bitcoin making higher lows and lower highs. As we can see down here, Bitcoin has an uptrend of support and a downtrend of resistance. This uptrend of support is a little bit longer term, but nevertheless, this does give us an apex over here later on tomorrow. So this gives Bitcoin about 24 to 36 hours where it will decide whether or not it wants to break bullish or whether or not it wants to break bearish. So we're going to have to see how this plays out. I'm going to be getting into a couple different reasons why I think that this is potentially going to be breaking bearish, but there are arguments on both sides of that. But I want you guys to be aware that any prediction I make here is going to be that there's definitely going to be a counter argument to it. So keep that in mind. But with that in mind, let's continue. If we zoom out here to the 4-hourly chart, what we're going to see is that Bitcoin's RSI is also in a consolidation pattern. We can see there's an uptrend here and a downtrend there. RSI is being squeezed in just the same way as price action is, and that happens quite often. One thing you also see during these consolidation patterns is that as Bitcoin or whatever asset you're looking at gets further in towards this apex right over here, it gets more likely that it's going to have a breakout in a random direction. And the reason I say that is because when you get so close in here, it doesn't take a whole lot for Bitcoin to either break bullish or break bearish, just like a 2% move to break either bullish or bearish. So it's very possible and normally very easy for either a bull or a bear whale to come in and buy a ton of Bitcoin or short a ton of Bitcoin and then move the market in such a way that we build bullish or bearish momentum and then it crashes or rallies the market. So whatever technical analysis you do on these breakout patterns, what you want to do is you want to wait for the breakout and then trade it. Don't make a trade on a consolidation pattern before the breakout. Wait for it, prepare for it, have your trade set up before the breakout, and then if it breaks in the right direction, then you can make that trade. You can have a trade set up for a short and for a long, so you catch the break no matter which direction it goes and make money either way. That's the best way that you can go about trading these, and I would be very careful doing it any other way because there's a lot of money that you can lose if you trade a consolidation pattern wrong, but there's also a lot of money that you can make if you do it correctly. I do want to show you guys several things out here on the daily chart as it has to do with this indicator that I want to show you, the CMF, because as we can see here, guys, I don't know if you notice it, but there is some bullish hidden divergence on the daily chart right here. Let me show you exactly where it is because it shows up not only on the RSI but also on our CMF. As we can see right here, we have this trend line right here showing that we have a higher low pattern forming on the daily chart for Bitcoin. But if you guys will notice, then you will also see that there's a lower low pattern forming on the CMF down here. And don't worry, I'm going to explain exactly what this technical indicator is in just a little bit. But for right now, what you need to understand is that you can also read sort of divergence signals from the CMF. And one that we're getting is that Bitcoin does have higher lows at the moment and it does have lower lows on the CMF. That's one of the only bullish things that I'm finding on the chart right now. Most things are pretty bearish. We do see that the MACD has started to converge bullish again, but that's not really going to propel Bitcoin with the exuberance that it needs to continue the rally. Bitcoin's looking rather bearish right now, and one of the reasons for that actually also has to do with the CMF, believe it or not. So let's go ahead and quickly dive into exactly what the CMF CMF is. The Chaikin money flow was developed by Mark Chaikin as a volume-weighted average of accumulation and distribution over a specific period. The standard CMF period is 21 days. The principle behind the CMF is the nearer the closing price is to the high, the more accumulation has taken place. Conversely, the nearer to the closing price is the low, the more distribution has taken place. Essentially what this means, essentially what the CMF is it's a rating of how bullish or bearish the market is. When we're way up here in the 0.2, 0.3, 0.4 region on the CMF, that means that the market is pretty bullish. What it does is it takes the trend into consideration and it takes the volume into consideration, and it spits out this oscillator down here that allows us to determine how bullish Bitcoin is. Bitcoin was looking very bullish right up here, and it just so happens that we were right, because as you can see in the lead up to that, we saw that the CMF was rallying very, very, very quickly, and then boom, right as we hit the very top here, we had this blow off top where Bitcoin rallied like $1,200 in the span of like an hour. If you go back on the chart, this happened very quickly, and if you were in fact looking at the CMF probably would have predicted this. I didn't know about this indicator back then. I wish I did though, because I'm very much liking what I'm seeing here. But one of the other signals you can read into it is when the CMF is actually declining, that is indicative of a trend moving more towards the neutral side and then more towards the bearish side. Right now the CMF isn't really bearish because we're sitting around the zero level, but it is rather neutral, and when we're in a bull market, as we are, that is bearish. But I also want to point something out that a lot of people, I think, forget with this indicator, because I've done a lot of research on this, but a lot of people are saying, okay, the CMF has come down to the zero level, therefore it's bearish on Bitcoin. That means that we're probably going to go lower on Bitcoin, and that is true. That is how you want to read this indicator, and that is definitely what it's calling for. There's a few other indicators we'll get to in a second that are calling for the same, but if you actually look back in history here, oftentimes the CMF would bottom out at the bottom of the market. Right here we could see that the CMF was bottoming out at the zero level right here at the bottom of this market. Same thing right here, just a little while later we bottomed out. Same thing right here, we bottomed out. Right up here we bottomed out. Same exact thing happens over and over again. Whenever the CMF is bottoming out, a lot of times that's actually the bottom of the downtrend. So it wouldn't be surprising to me that if we do see a little bit more bearish price action, that it only lasts for a week or two, and that the CMF helps to allow us to come back up. Now the CMF is more of an indicator that allows you to understand how bullish or bearish the market is. It isn't so much a predictive indicator, but it can be used as one, because just like anything else, it does have trends that form on it. And one of the ones, like I just showed you, is that during bear markets, a lot of times when it comes down here to zero, there's probably a rally about to start. But guys, with that said, I do want to remind you, and I do want to stress that the CMF is at zero. That is a neutral thing. The CMF has been declining, and that is bearish for Bitcoin. One more thing that's bearish for Bitcoin is right here. We can see that there's actually a bit of a candlestick right here with a very long upper shadow right here. This is not a very bullish candle. This long wick up here is very bad for Bitcoin. This is not the end of the world or anything, but it is something you want to keep in mind. This candlestick right here is not a very good looking candlestick, and this is called an inverted hammer. That's normally not a bullish thing. You normally don't want to see those in your trend, because a lot of times they happen at the bottom of trends, but when they don't happen at the bottom of trends, sometimes they can be bearish predictors of price action to come. So guys, right now the table is really set for a big move on Bitcoin. In my opinion, we're sitting at the crux of a decision point. I'm going to want to see how Bitcoin treats this consolidation pattern here, and if I'm at my house when this happens, I'm going to try and trade this. Hopefully I'll be able to record that. Maybe I'll upload it to YouTube for you guys. Anyway guys, I think Bitcoin is really at the crux of a decision point. It's moving here towards the end of this consolidation pattern. A lot of these technical indicators are pointing both bullish and bearish, but in general, they're pointing more bearish than bullish. I think that Bitcoin does still have some fuel left in the tank to allow the bears to push Bitcoin even lower. I'd like to see how that plays out. So guys, right now I'm not going to make much of a prediction on Bitcoin other than I am feeling bearish on Bitcoin, and I wouldn't be surprised if we went down to around $9,000 or a bit lower in the coming week. Now that doesn't mean that we're not going to be bullish for the next couple of days. That's very possible, but in general, Bitcoin is looking rather bearish, and because that's the trend that we're in right now, and because that's what the technicals are saying right now, we have to err on the side of caution and be on the side of the bears, because that is who is currently winning. Until we have proof that the bulls are actually back in control, we don't want to go betting ourselves on them, because it's less likely that they're going to be the ones that are actually continuing to drive the market. So with all that said, let's go ahead and dive into a little bit of news. John McAfee, guys, this story just keeps getting funnier and funnier and funnier, and I wouldn't be laughing at him if John McAfee wasn't laughing at it himself. You can see he looks a little amused. A record, I think. He says, my second arrest in 1 week. A record, I think. And you might be wondering how he got a camera in there. This is talked about in this article here. Nevertheless, if you haven't been keeping up to speed on the whole John McAfee getting arrested in the Dominican Republic saga, then I will go ahead and catch you up. Essentially, John McAfee landed on his boat in the Dominican Republic in in port, and then he was telling everyone, or excuse me, his campaign manager, Dominguez, I'm not going to try and pronounce his name again like I did yesterday. His campaign manager essentially said that the CIA was trying to track him down and that they were going to release a bunch of confidential documents if he wasn't released. It was not the CIA, it was local authorities. They were upset about something, and no one really seems to know what it is because they haven't told us. Nevertheless, he got arrested again because he was out for less than 24 hours, if I understand correctly, and then they arrested him again. Like I said, over here on his Twitter, he said, "My second arrest in 1 week." A record, I think. Yes, John McAfee, that may in fact be a record. This, I don't know if this is a publicity stunt or what. I don't know what's going on here. They say that the photographs he claimed were made possible because the group had smuggled their mobile telephones into the holding facility. I don't know what's going on here, and frankly, it doesn't really impact anything. It's just a really funny story. I hope John McAfee gets out and continues doing his presidential campaign from abroad or whatever he's doing. This is just too funny. Please don't get arrested a third time, dude. I don't know what you did. This is just absolutely hilarious to me. Anyway, moving on here to our last news story of the day. Not a whole lot happened today that was interesting to talk about, but this is something I did want to bring up. Crypto titan Mike Novogratz, you've probably heard that name before as he is a billionaire, betting on Bitcoin reaching all-time highs this year. The CEO of crypto investment bank Galaxy Digital says Facebook, Telegram, and global economic uncertainty are behind Bitcoin's big 2019 rally. In a new interview with Bloomberg TV, Novogratz says Facebook's Libra is a game changer for Bitcoin and will ultimately bring new users into the world of cryptocurrency, and I completely agree with him. We're going to skip past part of this because a lot of this is him talking about why Libra is being successful. That's not what I'm interested in. I'm interested in why he thinks that Bitcoin is being successful and where he thinks that's going to go. Novogratz said renewed interest in crypto has been readily apparent at Galaxy Digital this year due to Bitcoin's rising price. When Facebook announced its digital asset, Libra, the calls coming into the firm bounced to a whole new level. That is the kind of thing I've been looking for a long time, for someone who has an institution in cryptocurrency to confirm to me that this kind of thing is happening, because I can tell on the YouTube channel. If you go on the YouTube channel generally averages between 50 and 100 subscribers a day. If you go back a couple months ago when Bitcoin was in this gigantic rally over here, we were getting 2, 3, 4, 5, 600 subscribers in a day. There were tons of people coming into the cryptocurrency space. There was so much interest in the market, and I'm glad to hear that someone else who has some kind of business in the cryptocurrency market is seeing the same thing. Guys, I've been talking about all of these institutions stepping into the space and how important that is. Facebook launching Libra, even if it blows up in their face and Congress gets pissed off at them, no matter what happens, it's bringing a lot of interest to the space, and it's allowing more people to learn about crypto, and some of the people that learn about crypto are going to stay in crypto. From the moment Facebook's Libra got announced, the phones started heating up again. Crypto had been quiet. Bitcoin had a monster correction. Crypto had a 95% correction in 2018. I believe he's talking about the interest there, not the price action. And when Bitcoin started moving back up again, when people started making money, people get interested. And the price went up for a few reasons. It went up because of the China trade war. It went up because we've got political instability all over the world. It went up because people started talking about easing rates again. And the debasement of fiat currency arguably got involved. And then, mostly, Facebook. Institutions are investing in funds out in San Francisco, and they're getting much closer to making either their first or major investments in the space. This is just very, very bullish, guys. That's pretty much all I wanted to read from that, but I wanted to give you from the horse's mouth someone that definitely knows what they're talking about in the market, someone who is a literal billionaire and works in cryptocurrency markets. Mike Novogratz is someone that you should be able to trust his opinion on this. If anyone's going to know what they're talking about, someone like him should. And as he is saying, as I've been saying for the last year plus, when the institutions start stepping into the space, when they start getting involved, when they start allowing their platform and their users to start using cryptocurrency, when they start getting interested in general, it's going to be huge for Bitcoin. And this might actually be one of the reasons that Bitcoin is in this downtrend right now, is not only because Bitcoin needed a correction, but because a lot of that exuberance and the news from the institutions and from a lot more people stepping back into the space has already happened. Perhaps the reason we had such a gigantic rally here in 2019 so far is because all of this price action came from people that had already been in Bitcoin and already knew what Bitcoin could do, and they were just trying to get back in after they left during 2018. And now that they're back into the market, their price has been factored back into the price of Bitcoin. Perhaps now we do need a larger correction so that we can consolidate and allow more people to come back into the space and allow the market to start growing healthily based on new users rather than users that just left for the bear market. Maybe that's what we need. Tell me in the comment section down below what you think of that analysis, guys. Do you think Bitcoin does have a little bit more bearishness in the tank? Do you think we are still going to see a little bit more of a correction in the coming days and the next week or two? Or do you think that Bitcoin is done with the consolidation pattern because we are setting higher lows at the moment? And do you think Bitcoin's about to start a new rally? I would be very interested to hear what your take is on that. in the comment section down below. And also, guys, if you want to learn how to trade these markets, you want to learn how to analyze these markets, and most importantly, how to profit in these markets, I do highly encourage you to check out the link in the description down below for the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy. If you guys don't know what CT2A is, essentially it's a consolidation of everything that I know in the cryptocurrency markets. If I know something in the cryptocurrency markets, it's probably in one of the videos here. Essentially what CT2A is it's a place where you can go to learn about these cryptocurrency markets. You have 33 videos and over 9 hours of content that teach you how to analyze these markets and how to profit in them, because it can be daunting when you're getting started trying to figure out what all these lines mean, what all these different little doodads down here at the bottom mean. It's very, very daunting. I remember when I got into cryptocurrency markets, it was very daunting. It was very confusing. I had no idea what was going on, and a resource like that would have been very, very helpful. So guys, if you're interested, check the link in the description down below. If you do decide to join the over 700 people that have already joined CT2A, you can do so with the $40 off coupon code 25K2019. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. I do want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.